short, useless conversation on the live feed prior to. We're live now on Facebook, and we're just going to jump right into the podcast. You ready to go?
Let's do it.
All right, we're live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to another episode of Business Bros. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another show. Hernan here, host of the Business Bros podcast, and I don't say my name often, so I got to get in the habit of actually saying the name.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So, yeah, I was told, so yeah. I gotta do it.
James Cias here, the other business bro, the insurance bro.
Absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into our show, of course, we got to remind you 365 pairs of shoes by the end of the year. So if you have gently used pair of shoes or a new pair of shoes, or you want to donate money, hit James up 619-884-0045 or james@csfirst.com. He'll ride over on his Harley and pick those up from you. And we appreciate all the donations we've had so far and all the donations we're going to have moving forward. My garage is getting more and more stacked with shoes, so really appreciate it. It's going to be a great Christmas for a lot of people.
Super stacked.
That's funny.
This will be the third and final time that I throw this out there. If anybody has a bed for someone to stay in, somebody who is traveling the Pacific Crest Trail, needs a place to stay for about a week while another friend takes off, and they'll be back together and hitting up that trail again. But if anybody has a place, let me know, please, and would love to be able to put this person up in an actual bed.
All right, cool. Last little cheap plug. So I got my book today, Harris Rules. Tim and Julie Harris are the coaching program for real estate that I am a part of. And what's super cool in this book is when I opened it, the very first page there, they gave me a shout out on the book. Holy moly.
Nice. Can you hold that up to the camera a little bit better?
Let's see. That close?
That is so cool.
Super dope. So obviously this is going on the shelf here. It's going to be in the background now from now on. First time I've ever been mentioned in a book. So thank you guys, Tim and Julie. Really appreciate
that. Is the first ever. That's so cool.
Right?
So cool. Like, all right. I
know it is cool. It
blown
is cool.
away. Like, seriously, no, like, Nicole, I love you. We're going to get to you in just like a half a second, but I have to give it to you, man. Everything that we've been doing here, putting on these daily podcasts and the reach that we've gotten and the work that you have done, bro. The work that you have done has gotten you into a published work, and that's freaking awesome.
You're making me speechless. Not supposed to be speechless before a podcast.
I know, right?
But thank you.
Love you, bro. All right. Intro time. Well, after all of that, we are so excited. It is a beautiful Thursday karaoke night. And we have an awesome guest today on the show, a fellow from Century 21 Award, Miss Nicole Del Priore. Thank you so much for joining us on the show, and welcome.
Thank you for having me, and congratulations.
Thank you.
That's super awesome.
By the way, that book is really good for any real estate agent. Step-by-step stuff that you can do that's practical and tactical that you can get into your business right away. So highly recommend it. I got the first version. This is the extended version, which goes into more like, now you've made money, now what do you do with it type part. So if you're ever interested, let me know. It's super cool.
Cool.
Super cool. All right, Nicole, so tell me a little bit about yourself. What were you doing before you decided to get into this whole real estate world?
So I have quite a diverse past. Right out of college, I was a cop for Chula Vista. So I did that for a little while, realized it really wasn't for me at the time. I think I wasn't mature enough, wasn't ready, but I did. I was out on the streets. They gave me a gun and everything, which people that know me, that's scary. But no, after I did that, I worked federal corrections for about 4 years, and then went back to school, got another degree in computer science, was working for a major bioscience company, biotechnology company for a while, and decided that I wanted to stop doing stuff that was practical and started doing something that, I wanted to do. And so I got into real estate, and it's something that's been on my mind, something I've always wanted to do. But again, growing up, we're always taught, do something practical, make sure you have a paycheck. And, sometimes that's not always fun. It's not fulfilling. It's not rewarding.
Oh, yeah. So. No, 100%. Well, today was graduation day for, because I teach at East Lake High in the morning. So this morning was graduation day. I had a bunch of seniors that are now going off and doing their thing in the real world. You sounds like you haven't really struggled when it comes to the education aspect. I mean, you went to the police academy, you became a police officer, you went to college, you got a degree, but one of the things that I try to get across to my students is, especially today, it's not 100% about the degree. You really have to, especially because of the cost of the degree.
Yeah, exactly.
You really got to figure out what it is you want to do. What is going to drive you to wake up in the morning and do that thing? How did you have you discovered it? Is this the thing, or are you still progressively working towards that?
This is definitely the thing. And I think one thing that trips kids up is when you graduate high school, you're expected to go to college and pick a degree, and this is the path you're supposed to go on for the rest of your life. That's it. This is what you're going to do. And when I was younger, I wanted to be a cop. My mom was a 911 dispatcher. So I'm originally from Chicago. South Side, and that's where my mom was a dispatcher. And so I grew up around it, and it was something that I always wanted to do. Went to school, got a degree, criminal justice, did it, and it just wasn't, I don't know, it just didn't seem like a good fit, but it was, you go to college and you think, well, this is what I have to do. Mm-hmm. And so I stopped doing that and then started to kind of explore other avenues or things that, I enjoyed doing, not just because I thought I was supposed to do it, but because I wanted to do it. And so I moved around quite a bit. Like I said, I got another degree, worked for a great company, but it just wasn't for me. And finally, I just decided to do real estate because it was something that I always wanted to do. Again, because it wasn't practical, I didn't do it. But it took a while to kind of get to that point and be okay with not doing something that was, safe.
Well, how did your parents or your loved ones feel about that? Because it's definitely something that stops a lot of people from being able to make a choice. Yeah. They're worried about what other people are going to say. They're worried about what their loved ones are going to say. Are they letting somebody down? Yeah. How was that in your as you were deciding to go a different route?
I have very, very supportive parents. My mom basically has encouraged me. My dad unfortunately has passed, but he always encouraged me in the past. But my mom and my stepdad are excellent support system, and anything that I want to do, they're like, no, just go do it. My mom always said, she wished she had done things differently or pursued other avenues, and she never did it. And so that's one big thing for me is just go out and do it. You have to try it. The only way you're gonna know it's not for you or it's not right, to go try it. So I've been very fortunate. I didn't have to worry about what friends, family, or anybody thought. And everybody's been very, very supportive throughout this. And I was licensed about 2 years ago. I went full time. Actually, June 1st was my first full year. And so everybody's just been incredibly supportive. I didn't really have to worry about not having a support system around that.
That's super, super helpful, right?
Yeah.
All right, so you get into this whole real estate game, right? What was it like transitioning? Did any of your prior skills or the education you had before, did any of that help you? And, what was that struggle like?
So the biggest struggle for me is I'm not a salesperson. That's just not how my personality was. So kind of changing that thought process and trying to become that salesperson. And I realized I don't have to necessarily be a salesperson. I can just be myself, and just being myself and being who I am, it just kind of comes out. It helps with that process. And that was the biggest change, because every job that I've done in the past was definitely not sales related. It was,
Well, one was very direct.
Yeah.
You had to command the presence, right?
Yeah. And it's funny because when I was a cop, and even when I worked federal corrections, you're in a pod with, you could up to 120 inmates. Just depends on, how many you have. And I had no problem standing in front of them and, telling them what they needed to do, or, wasn't nervous at all. But asked me to go door knock. And I was like, I don't want to do this. So, it's very, it's trippy to me, what was not comfortable. In a pod with a bunch of, criminals, 120, could be 120 men, no less. And that was not a big deal. But you asked me to go knock on somebody's door. So
all of a sudden.
Yeah. So definitely getting that this is out of my comfort zone. But, that's the thing, is you just got to start doing it. I notice in this business, you really have to go out of your comfort zone to be successful. So
the money's in the uncomfortable part.
Yeah,
100%.
For sure.
So tell me a little bit about, you have a legend in your office who is on top of their social media game, how does that kind of trickle down to everybody else in the office? I mean, the bar's set pretty high.
Yeah. And Gabe, he's a good guy. Super helpful. If you have any questions, he's always there to answer. I've definitely taken pieces of what he's done and tried to incorporate it into what I do. His style is a little bit different than mine, but there's always good points you can take from things. So yeah, he's definitely set the bar high. But we all have our own thing.
For sure.
So
what are you doing like today to help? How are you using social media today?
Basically I try to do posts and information that's going to be helpful to a potential buyer or seller. Every month I put out a post. My farm, my area that I specialize in is North Park, Hillcrest, and University Heights. And so every month I put out something that shows, what homes sold, how many are available, and then I list out actually the homes that have sold. And that's actually been quite helpful because I've had people contact me and say, hey, thank you for putting this information out there. So I always try to put stuff out that's going to be helpful or useful. I don't want to clutter it with too much just putting stuff out there to put it out there.
Yeah. Are you putting out regularly
Yeah.
or just like once a month?
No. That post goes out once a month, and then I try to post regularly as well. So, and where I come from, so I'm from the south side of Chicago, and we're very, no nonsense, to the point, it's kind of no frill, And so that's just basically, that's my personality, and that's how I want to, present, my business as well. Is I want to give you useful information. I want to, noble, this is what it is, and, how can I help you? Like, let's figure out a plan, together to make things work.
Where would you say your primary business is coming from?
Referrals and people that I've known, over, past couple of years. Like, that's where most of my sales have come from.
You came from Chicago. How long you been here in San Diego?
It'll be 23 years in August.
Oh, a little bit of time. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
You're basically a local.
Yeah, you're basically a local.
It wasn't a smart move at the time. I bought a one-way plane ticket. I packed one suitcase, and I'm like, California sounds fun. So.
Did you just left family, and just came out here?
Yeah. I've always been kind of a rebel. My dad used to call me Miss Independent, so.
Oh, still Miss Independent, huh?
Yeah. Looking back, it probably wasn't a great thing at the time. I had a full ride to run cross country and play softball at Kentucky State, and I visited the school. Wasn't really for me, and so. Yeah.
But you've been athletic. I mean, you've had a number of head injuries, according to our conversation before, right? So, did you play sports in college?
So I played. So I decided that after I didn't want to go to Kentucky State, that I just didn't want to play sports. Well, I moved out here, ended up going to College of the Desert in Palm Desert, because I saw the phone number, and it had a San Diego area code. So I thought it was just staying in San Diego. It turns out it was in god-awful heat that I'd never experienced before. I mean, it was bad. I got so sick the first week. I just was not in good shape. But I got there, and the conversation ended up going to sports, and I was talking with the athletic director, and I said, well, I ran cross country in high school and I played softball. He said, well, we don't have a cross country team, but we just started a soccer team. I'm like, well, I've never played soccer in my life, so that's out. And he's like, well, just come out. So I went out, tried out, made it. Not because I have any soccer skills, just because I could run for days. So yeah, I did that for the first year that I was there, and then I played softball as well. They roped me into that. So
just get thrown into stuff.
Yeah.
And you've maintained that physical attribute of your life, right?
Yeah, that's something ever since I was little. I remember begging my dad, I think I was in 7th grade, can you get me a weight bench? I was always just into working out and, being active. I joined Little League in 4th grade because my friend Mark said, girls can't play baseball.
Oh,
and I'm like, okay, I'll go play some baseball. Yeah. So yeah, I was Little League 4th and 5th grade, 4th, 5th, and 6th, 7th, and 8th. I started playing softball and then played that.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
How has your competitive nature fed into what you're doing in real estate now?
It actually helps. So it plays a good part because I'm competitive, because I see so many people doing so many deals. It's okay, now I want to go out and do that. I want to be successful. So it definitely triggers that competitiveness. Okay, well, this person sold this many this month. Now I need to sell this many, So yeah, it definitely helps.
Yeah, that's one of those. I don't know about you, but usually for me, the competitive is also the pride factor.
Yeah.
Like I have, you know, huge. My dad would always say that it's my biggest attribute, is also my biggest flaw. Right? It's if somebody's doing better than me, I don't, you know, I'm not envious to a degree. I'm saying like, damn, if they can do it, I can do it. You know what I mean? And and not only am I going to be able to do it, I'll probably be able to do it better if I put in the effort, I can get there.
And see, that was like the thing with the Little League. It's like, fine, you know. And then I remember I ended up pitching in like one of the championship games. And so it's like, you know, don't tell me what I can and cannot do.
Right?
You know, like that's just, I guess I've always been stubborn like that. And it probably like started that trigger from him telling me girls can't play. And I'm like, oh, I could play.
Who are you talking to? I'm going to get a one-way ticket to San Diego and go to college in the desert. Right? That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I've always like, I haven't always made the best decisions because of that competitive and because of just wanting to do things that people tell me I can't do. But yeah.
So you got a little bit of the McFly complex, huh?
Yeah.
That's what it is, right? What are you, chicken?
Yellow?
Yellow? What? Yeah, you can. But you know what though? In all seriousness, life, when you look back at things and you have some sort of regret, it's usually the things that you didn't do that you end up regretting. You decide, you know, something comes across your way and it's an opportunity in front of you, and you decide to not even take the chance. You're gonna regret it, whether that was a good choice or not. Yeah. You never know in reality, the choice you didn't make, you don't know what happens. Yeah. And so at the very least, you've tried a lot of things. Yeah. You've taken a step. You've knocked on some doors, as scary as it is.
Yeah.
Right?
Kick some down too. So
yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure.
Harken back to those cop days.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
That is though. Like I don't.
Now I'm just gonna say, like when I first met you, when you knocked on the door just 20 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago, you have a solid handshake.
That's usually
for sure.
Yeah, everybody's like, damn.
Yeah, I was like,
sorry.
ooh, wow. No. But like I feel like that is part of that, you know, culture and, you know, everything that has made you who you are, and that's just one of those awesome things. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, here's the other thing. Like the podcast is, for those of you listening, if the podcast is at my home, right? And so there's a lot of times where we'll have a female guest come over, and I can tell right off the bat they're a little skeptical and awkward, you know, coming into somebody's house they've never been to. You know, it's definitely a little scary. It can be, anyways. You didn't have that at all. You came in with like confidence. I have no problem coming into this place. You know what? As a matter of fact, my dog's in the side. You know, my dog's in the car. It's gonna come and sniff your house. No, but you definitely had the drugs. You definitely had that confidence, though. You know, walking in the door. And I wonder how much of that helps you in your business. Like you might have been nervous to knock on a door, but I don't know if that would show. Right?
Yeah.
What do you think it was like for you?
You know, it's funny because like people that I've become friends with because of this business, like as a result of this business, I was like, yeah, I was super nervous. And they're like, we could not get that at all from you. Like you come off super confident when you're, you know, when you're dealing with people, when you're talking with people. So I don't know. It's like I'm able to like, what is it? Fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm able to come off confident, but you know.
But I mean, I think it has to do with like I've talked to a few people who were in law enforcement, and one of the biggest things they say it's your presence, like just being there, your command presence, right? And that has a lot of authority without ever. You don't even have to say anything, but a lot of that just kind of, it shows you this is a leader, this is a person who's in charge. You know, you're gonna listen to what I have to say, and I think a lot of that, even as scared as you can be, because I'm sure as a police officer, you've had situations where your heart's racing.
And I didn't have that command presence when I was a police officer. I found that my first day when I worked corrections, when that door closed behind me and there was all these eyes looking at me, like that's when that kind of like threw me into that. But I didn't always have that. I was definitely not prepared to be a police officer, you know, and I definitely didn't have a command presence then, but quickly developed it within a matter of seconds of that door closing behind me.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't even know what that would be like, to be honest. I mean, was it like a max security prison?
So it was right here near the border. We had at the time, it's changed now, but there was 5 units that were housing units for males, 1 female. And I remember my first night I was in the female housing unit, and I was in basically the worst pod, and I had like a medical emergency. A girl slammed her door on her fingers. I had segregation in there. I mean, it was just like a complete, utter mess that first day, but...
Welcome to the job.
Yeah. It was like the worst possible intro to day one, and but then after that it got easy, and I never really had any issues. I just went in there and said, you know what, I'm not going to ask you to do anything that you shouldn't already be doing. I'll be fine, with you if you're fine with me, and I had a few knuckleheads, but
it's funny though, when you have that kind of those horrible rough days to start, it's like, of course everything got better after that. You've already went through the worst part, right?
Yeah, because I was like, what the heck? Like their finger it was just like the worst thing I've ever seen.
Mangled.
Yeah, and then I think like shortly after that, one of the other first days on, I had a female that she decided to take off all her clothes and run naked.
Oh yeah, because that's what we do when we're bored.
Yeah, and so just like weird experiences. I wouldn't change it for anything because I think I grew up a lot. I definitely developed that command presence. I developed, I don't even know. I don't know. I grew up so much in that experience. I wouldn't trade it for anything. If I had had that before being a police officer, I think things would have been different. But.
Well, let me ask you this: in a prison, I'm sure. I don't want to equate this to the classroom, but I kind of have to. You have all kinds of excuses for the orders that you're giving, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
And then there's like 50 million excuses why you can't get that thing done, right? I think, how do you think that compares to when you're sitting in front of a client and there's the value that I'm giving you, here's the proposition, this is how I'm going to help you, and then here come the objections.
And my thing is, there's always a way around everything. Mm-hmm. I have a tattoo and it's Latin. I'll either find a way or make one. And like, that's like my philosophy. Like, there's always a way. You can give me an objection, but there's always a way around it. And I think a lot of times those objections just come out of fear or, the unknown. I mean, it's a huge transaction. I mean, you're selling your home or you're purchasing a home. It's the biggest transaction. It could be the biggest transaction of somebody's life. So I can definitely understand and see where they're coming from. Again, like a lot of times they're like valid, like legit, but sometimes it's just, being scared and nervous about, about the process. And
kind of helps. You kind of have to help them navigate those waters, right?
Yeah.
Because I've always found that an objection is more along the lines of a question that hasn't been answered, right? As long as you can answer those questions for them, you're going to help guide them. Yeah. How did those objections work out in prison?
Not very well sometimes. Yeah, I definitely had a few situations that were a little like, okay, here we go.
Well, on the bright side, when you go to a listing appointment, the seller's not going to run around naked.
That's true.
Usually, right? That would be a weird story in and of itself.
I think I've seen just about every kind of shocking. I don't know. Nothing surprises me. Nothing phases me anymore. So yeah, the questions at a listing appointment, the objections, those are no problem. I mean, some of them are a little bit more difficult, but there's always a way. There's always a way.
And it's okay to say, I don't know. I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Right?
Like I said, I'll find a way or I'll make one. That's
Absolutely.
just my philosophy.
So how about with sports, for example? You talked about like physical injury. You've talked about getting into soccer with never playing soccer at all. How do you think that parallels when you first got into real estate? Like, you didn't know anything about that, yet you went out and did it.
I think because I've always been the type that, if I don't know, I'll just go and figure it out. I'll read up on it, study it, look to people that are doing it, currently trying to model behavior after it. And I think you can pretty much do anything that you set your mind to. So, I mean, just even if you haven't done it before, you don't know, just try it, do it. You'll figure it out along the way.
What do you think were the first couple prospecting things that you ended up doing when you first got started?
Like as far as like going out to get business, I door knocked like within the first like couple months, and that just I remember it was the first time that I did it. It was like 90 something degrees. I decided to go out at 3:00 in the afternoon. Which,
it's okay. You went to school in the Palm Desert. Like, you're good.
Man, it was awful. Like, I don't know. I got down one end of the block and I'm all just sweaty. My hair, my makeup, everything. I just look a hot mess. And I'm like, yeah. And then people weren't very nice. I had a lady yell at me. She clearly wasn't all there. and I kind of was worried that she was living alone after the interaction, but yeah, I did that. Flyers, so door knocked flyers, try to do the social media thing. But it was just trying to like figure out, there's so much you can do to promote yourself. Mm-hmm. It's just like figuring out which ones to do and which ones are going to be, the most productive.
Absolutely. So you had a very crappy day when you first started off in corrections. You had multiple injuries in sports. Yeah. You had a crappier day when you first started door knocking. Is there anything you start off with like a beautiful, sun shower, or sunflowers and rainbows and...
No. Every morning, right?
Yeah, every morning. Yeah, because I have, I'm a cat lady, crazy cat lady. I have a lot.
How many's a lot?
I have 3.
That's not really
it's not too bad.
That's not bad.
But one thing I will say that I do, so 3% of all of my commission. So when I get a commission, 3% goes to an animal charity. Nice. And so this year I've been able to donate to 3 so far.
That's funny. Tim and Julie Harris, they always talk about their stories when they were selling real estate, and they were selling hundreds of homes a year. They used to do a program called Buy and Sell with Me, Adopt a Pet for Free.
Nice.
And that was kind of cool because everybody has that, and it's about going out and being part of the community.
Yeah.
And everyone has a warm spot in their heart for a loved one of our 4-legged loved ones. Yeah. So 3 cats.
Yeah, 3. I want more. Like, my whole goal in life is to become so rich that I can have a rescue. Like, nice. That's all I want to do is just rescue cats.
Can I ask, is there a particular charity or a particular animal rescue that you support?
Well, there's one that I've been following since I actually started Instagram, and he's called Justin Fire Survivor. And he was actually, when he was a little baby, somebody doused him with kerosene and lit him on fire.
Oh, no.
Thankfully, he was rescued. And the lady that adopted him, now she takes in severely abused animals. And so that was the first charity that I donated to. And then there's also, out of New York City, Little Wanderers and then Devoted Feeders, 2 separate ones. And they just do such great work because the feral and homeless cat population in New York City is just ridiculous. Huge. It's out of control. So
Little Wanderers, and what was the other one after that?
Devoted Feeders.
So how did you decide to where in your life was it that animals was going to be your thing? Because I sense a pretty strong
it's always
passion.
Yeah, my parents were amazing, and I was always bringing home strays. So,
yeah. I found one.
Yeah.
It found me.
Yeah, I've always had cats. I had a dog. Unfortunately, he passed away in 2015. But yeah, I've always had animals. I've never not. And I run a lot, and so in my neighborhood, whenever I go on my runs, I can tell you where all the cats are. Yeah, I'll stop to pet a cat, but I can tell you, hey, we're gonna, in about a half a block, there's gonna be a cat that lives there, and he's gonna be out in the driveway, and yeah.
So you're like a cat woman.
Yeah.
You got all the training and tactics to actually be Catwoman.
Yeah. Yeah. Right? But when I was little, I used to think I was Wonder Woman. I have this picture. It's a great picture. And my mom had helped make the outfit. And I have snow boots on and snow pants.
Yeah, it's a kid costume. Yeah, of course.
And I used to think I was Wonder Woman. So.
But then you became Catwoman.
Cat lady. So Catwoman. Yeah.
That's awesome. So funny though.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna be how long do you plan on being in real estate going forward?
Oh, indefinitely. I found something that I absolutely love. I wish I had done it years ago, but I guess I wish I'd done it years ago, but what I've done previously has helped me prepare for this. So I think I got into it at the right point in time in my life, but no, this is it for me. I absolutely enjoy it.
So no exit strategy? No, what happens if you get older and you decide to retire? Nothing like that?
Well, when I retire, I'm going to go move with my parents in Italy, so.
There you go.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, they retired and left me, so I'm without adult supervision.
Well, let's be fair. You left them first, right? You left Chicago.
That's true.
So they just decided that I'm out of the country. That's it. I'm gone.
Yeah.
Italy though.
Yeah, and they're loving it. It's mad cheap out there too. It's they pay $500 American for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. They look out their kitchen window, they can see the Alps.
Damn.
Love it.
Yeah.
My best friend's about to get stationed out there at the end of this year, so I'm definitely taking a trip out in the next couple.
Nice. And if anybody wants to buy out there, I have relatives that are real estate agents, so I could definitely hook you up. The town where my parents live, people are moving out, and they're just looking for people to live there and to buy property. So
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
No. You know me, dude. I am not leaving this country yet.
It's like less than $100,000 for like a villa. I mean, it's crazy. Like real estate there is like crazy cheap, and then it's crazy cheap to travel within Europe. And then where they live, they're 2 hours on a train to Milan, a couple hours, like I think 4 to 6 hours to Rome.
See, so, I'm not very cultured. I mean, I've heard all that. I've known all that. This guy will get out there and travel, and he'll love to just go out and see the world.
Let me go buy a place out there in Italy and travel Europe.
Like my wife's like, where are we going on vacation this year? I was like, let's go to Hawaii. She's like, we already went there. I go, I know, it was nice, wasn't it? Like that's me, right? I want to, when it comes to traveling, I'm like, I'm not a journey person. I'm a destination person. Like, tell me when I'm there. Like I want to get there, and that's just me personally. But this guy, on the other hand, he's where are we going? I don't know. We're just going.
Yep. Get in the car and go.
See, I'm terrified to fly. So yeah, like.
Also, are you gonna get there by boat?
My mom's like, come out for Christmas, and I'm like, but I have to fly by myself. and I'm totally like the Kristen Wiig character in what is it, Bridesmaids?
Bridesmaids.
Yeah. I'm like, there's a colonial woman on the wing. She's churning butter. Like that's me. I remember the first time I went to Europe, I had the doc he gave me Valium, and so we flew from San Diego to Chicago, and then it was going to be Chicago to Dublin. And I remember right before we were boarding in Chicago, took the Valium, got on the plane, and as soon as we took off, I like started to like freak out because I'm like, oh my god. The Valium like wore off like that, and then I remember just like downing bottles of wine, which Valium and wine is probably
a bad mix.
Yeah, I slept the whole way. By the time we got to Ireland, I was like, I don't even think I was coherent through customs. Because I think like I don't know, like it literally felt like the Valium like completely wore off. And
well, I don't know if it wore off. I think it mixed in with the alcohol and knocked you out.
But yeah, like as the second we took off, I was like full blown panic mode. I wasn't like climbing the walls or anything, but
you
like,
could feel it.
I could feel it, and I'm like got my inhaler out, and I'm like,
I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay.
and then my mom's like, just come out by yourself, okay. Like,
so you're okay to fly if you're with somebody, like if somebody.
I'm
like,
still not okay, but like
it's better.
I'm getting better at it. I've started to fly a little bit more.
What do you think it is about the flight? I mean, it's literally like a bus in the air.
Okay, so I had one incident happen. So this was when my grandma passed away, 2007. We flew her back to Chicago to bury her, and on the way back home, up until that point, I was like fine on an airplane. So we flew out of Midway, and it's over residential area, just like Lindbergh is. Mm-hmm. So we take off, and as we're taking off, everything just goes silent. Like it sounds like the engine's cut out. I mean, it is just dead silent on the airplane. And so I look over, and the flight attendant, she's doing a crossword puzzle. She's not like panicking, or she doesn't care. My mom's like flown a lot, and so she's starting to be like, oh my God. And then after a couple seconds, it came back on, but that was enough for me. It was like 5 minutes into the flight, and that was like the one thing. And she was trying to assure us, that's normal. They have to do that because you're over residential area. It's late at night, whatever. To me, it wasn't normal. So when she came walking around to do drinks, she saw that I was like pretty freaked
I'll take a double.
out. Yeah. And I was like, how much alcohol can I have? And she's like, well, I can give you 2 bottles, but I'll put 2 on your dad's, and I'll put 2 on your mom's. And so I literally downed like 6 bottles of wine, and I was still like, I was definitely a little bit buzzed. Yeah. And but I could still I was still aware that I was on an airplane, so it was like this weird mix of like being really calm and buzzed, and then kind of a little bit anxious. So
well, see that's one of those things. Like my wife, for example, my kids, like when we go to watch a scary movie. Well, we don't really go watch scary movies very often, but when a scary scene comes out, they're the type of people who cover their eyes. Right? And they don't see what happens. And I'm like, you have to watch it, because if you cover your eyes, your mind makes up a scarier story. It's usually
worse.
It's worse.
It's worse.
Right? And so I think that's, it might have been normal that happens. I don't know. I don't really fly at night very often. But I think your mind made it something like super scary.
And then it didn't help. So when I was flying to Europe from the San Diego to Chicago flight, I had 2 guys that were sitting on either side. The person that I went with, we had like separate seats, and so I was like, oh great. So I had these 2 guys sitting on either side of me. One guy he worked for Rolls-Royce, but he worked for the engines, so like plane engines. Mm-hmm. And then I had some kind of engineer, he was some sort of electrical, mechanical engineer on the other sid of me. And so the Rolls-Royce guy, he could tell that I was like super duper nervous. And so he starts going into, well, if we go down, we're going down, or it's going to be quick. And I'm just like, really,
I don't want to go down quick or slow. It doesn't matter.
Like,
I don't want to go
do
down.
you want to get decked? Am I going to have to be carried off by like an air marshal? Because like, is this really necessary? And so the engineer guy, he was like trying to say, oh no, this, and he was like really, really cool. He was basically just trying to give me the science behind it, and you know, you're gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be fine. And but yeah, the other dude, the engine dude, I'm just like, really,
dude.
Like, I'm like, you're just a complete jerk. Like, why?
He was trying to help the best way he could. He just didn't know that was not a good skill.
I think he was like on purpose trying to be
like freak you out.
Yeah, and I'm just like thinking, dude, like you're gonna get popped in like 2 seconds. You know, shut up. Because like I'm not playing. Like I'm already freaked out. Like I got all this adrenaline running through me. Like, you know.
And how many hours is that flight?
So San Diego to Chicago was only like 4 hours, and then Chicago to Dublin was like 8 maybe.
Dude, you got to be exhausted. Adrenaline probably running through your body for 4 hours straight.
Yeah, we got to Dublin, and I just like passed out and took a nap because I was just like, I'm done. And then we flew a lot, so then we flew from Dublin to Edinburgh, and then Edinburgh to London, and then London to Paris. So we did a lot of like flying, and so
for someone who freaks out on flights, you do a lot of flying.
Yeah. Oh, and then the one from Dublin to Edinburgh, it was like one of those little puddle jumpers, little twin prop, and it was really windy. We took off. We had to like walk onto the tarmac to get to the plane, and you just see the plane rocking back and forth because it's so windy. They were having like unusually high wind, and so I'm like, how's this plane gonna take off in this wind? And so we take off, and I mean, the plane's doing like all the dropping, and I got my leg up on the seat, and I'm like freaking out, got my inhaler, and and the flight attendant was like, yeah, that's like the worst turbulence I've ever experienced in my life. And I was like, great.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
See, those are the type of things you just can't hear. You need to get on a plane. You need to put some headphones on.
I do. I got my gangster rap. I got some easy.
Gangster rap. See, I love this girl.
I'm like, I gotta get hyped. Like, you know, I got easy. Like, you know, but yeah.
Dude, some NWA.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, for sure.
I could just think of the one song as a cop that she's listening to.
No, actually, there's another one. One of the easy songs, "Cruising Down the Street" in my 6'5".
Yeah.
There you go.
I remember thinking, like, because, you know, I'm, like, white. You
Yeah.
know, I'm Italian, but I'm white. And I remember thinking, like, yeah, I think I'm all, like, badass.
Yeah.
I'm, like, singing this
I could put a beanie on and
right?
I'm good.
Yeah. When I was little, because I went to Catholic high school. And it was funny because, like, all these, like, super white Catholic girls were, like, rock out to that. And I'm just, like, it was just funny to, like, look
Girl,
and
come on, please.
And see us, like, singing it. And, like, we totally do not reflect.
Well, dude, there's It Ain't No Fun by Snoop, right? I would always trip out because I'd be at a bar or club, whatever, and the song goes on and the girls are going crazy, like, yeah! And I'm thinking, you even know what the words to that song even say? Like, are you serious?
Yeah.
But they love it.
Yeah.
They love it, so I don't know, man. All right, how are we doing on time?
Oh yeah, we're
okay. Sorry, those are good stories.
I wasn't gonna stop you.
Right? It was fun. I told you it was cool, right?
Yeah, super cool.
Super cool. All right. What I want you to do is look over to the camera because now people love and trust you, right? Because they got to hear your stories, and tell them how to get a hold of you. You can also point down to your banner.
Oh, yeah. So if you want to get a hold of me, my phone number, it's on the banner, right?
Yep.
Phone number's on the banner. Email is nicole@nicoledelcells.com. Website, nicoledelcells.com. Instagram, Nicole Del Priore Realtor. And Facebook, San Diego Realtor, Nicole Del Priore. So tons of places you can get a hold of me.
There you go. And then lastly, who do you think is going to be a good guest for the podcast?
So there's a trainer at my gym. Super cool dude, Justin. I'll get you his information. He's starting out his Bodies by Jay app.
Ooh, sweet.
Yeah, super cool dude.
No concussions though, right?
I don't think so. I think I have the market cornered on those.
All right. Nicole, it's been awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I love spending time getting to know you.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun.
West Side, ladies and gentlemen.
Right?
Did you
I just threw him the West Side.
That is fantastic.
All right, ladies and gents, 365 pairs of shoes by the end of the year. Hit us up, 619-884-0045 or James at James at csfirst.com. I almost forgot my last name. James at csfirst.com. He'll hop in his Harley, go over there, pick him up. And then, of course, if you have any insurance needs, whether you need insurance for your business, you need it personally, you need it for your life, or you want to add insurance into your business, maybe you're a tax preparer, maybe you're in accounting, maybe you're in mortgages, maybe you want to add another revenue stream into your line of business, hit up James 619-884-0045 or James at csfirst.com. And if you want to be a guest on the show, I want to sit down and talk to you, listen to hear what kind of music you want to listen to, right?
Yep.
Park. No, I'm just it's funny because that's what I listen to all the time. It's funny.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, right. Until I went white too, and I'm a big Eminem fan. So. All right, Nicole, thanks again for being on the show.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, ladies and gentlemen. That's all we got for you guys. Well, for right now, because we'll be back at 4:00. But peace.
Bye-bye.
And I'm out. Thanks, Facebook.
Thank you, Facebook. We love you.
See you in a little while.
See you again soon.
I'm like sweating because I'm all was all nervous.
You did fine. See?